Dzień dobry Państwu. Zapraszam na
Morning,
oświadczenia
ladies and
po spotkaniu
gentlemen.
sekretarza
Welcome to
generalnego
the
NATO
statements following the meeting between Prime Minister Donald Tusk and Mr. Mark Rutte, Secretary General.
Witam Państwa serdecznie.
Ladies and gentlemen, very warm welcome to you, very warm welcome to Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte. Dear Mark, I'm very happy to be having you today in Warsaw. Tomorrow we are going to discuss very much similar issues, European security, war in Ukraine, while being in Paris at yet another meeting of European leaders. For me, it is extremely important, and it has been extremely important that today here in Warsaw we were able to discuss Polish security. We are very experienced in this regard, very experienced politicians when it comes to Ukraine and Ukrainian questions. We are attending numbers of meetings worldwide in various formats, in various settings, and today we want to focus on Polish security. This is my responsibility as a Polish Prime Minister. Poland does not need to prove the case when it comes to assisting Ukraine. It is obvious for us that the situation in Ukraine will have impact on the security of Poland and of Europe, so there is no case to be proved here. Nevertheless, now negotiations are underway, and our influence on the shape of negotiations is somewhat limited, so to say. So we as Poland, we as NATO, we need to be prepared for various scenarios, and some scenarios that we have not been writing ourselves. Therefore, Poland's security, full solidarity of the alliance, and the confidence about the validity of Article 5 of the treaty, one for all for one, that it will continue to be binding. Our cooperation within NATO, very good as it is from my perspective, and thank you very much for your kind words. So it provides for the full solidarity of the alliance in full, and US representatives emphasized on many occasions, also in discussions with you, as you told me today, and in discussions with us, that they will always be ready to stand up for Poland, to stand up for other NATO nations whenever they are threatened. For us, it is very important to hear such confirmation, especially now in such turbulent times where geopolitical picture is changing before our very eyes. And this confirmation that NATO is committed to defend Poland in any critical situation, this is crucially important. Thank you for reaffirming this role to us today. And today we also spoke about direct engagements in which we participated, the border policing activity on the Baltic Sea and policing of the Baltic Sea region. Thank you for your reaction. NATO needed to step in because there were various vessels making appearances on the Baltic Sea, and yet they were always manned with the same crew, and they attacked underwater cables and other lines, and thanks to the engagement of the Baltic states, Poland and NATO, of course, the sense of security has been improved for us. We know how much we care about our infrastructure on the Baltic Sea. Thank you very much for your support and interest in the project that is so important to Poland and Eastern and Central Europe, that is the East Shield, because we are ready to take on the part of our responsibility for security of our nation and other allied nations. Shield East is one of the priorities of the European Union, but it is extremely important that you, Mark, also came with very positive assessment of this project underway. And we will, of course, work closely on peace prospects for Ukraine. There is no other nation that would welcome so readily quick peace settlement. Nevertheless, we know that peace settlement must guarantee for full sovereignty of free Ukraine. Only fair and just peace settlement will afford sense of security to all of us. The reason I'm mentioning this is not only that we are a country of solidarity and we stood by Ukraine from day one. This is also a precondition of our security, Europe's security and alliances security. I'm very happy that we could have discussed at length the European dimension of NATO. We know the United States, our closest ally in Poland, according to long-standing tradition. Well, the relations may be somewhat changing, but the relationship with the United States continues to be very good. And Poland is the NATO country which invests heavily in defense, invests heavily in NATO. Who would deserve better than Poland to have full support from NATO, to full support from the United States? We are such geography, we have such a geography that we have, but we are ready to spend money on our defense, and we hope that you, as NATO Secretary General, our American allies and Europe, so those two legs, two pillars, will treat Poland accordingly in proportion to her engagement as a key player in NATO defense, Europe defense. Well, I think that we understand one another without words, so I'm limiting my statement, and I just wish to say that I'm very happy that you found time to visit Poland today and to have a lecture which will shed light on our joint strategy and NATO position, NATO posture in this very unique situation. Thank you very much that you opted for Warsaw to give us the message. Thank you so much. Thank you, Prime Minister. May I hand it over to NATO Secretary General, Mr. Mark Rutte.
Prime Minister, dear Donald, thank you for the warm welcome here in Warsaw. And it is a pleasure to be back in Poland. Poland has been a vital and much valued ally for 26 years, and you continue to lead by example. With 4.7% of GDP pledged for defense this year, Poland's defense expenditure is the highest now among NATO allies. In an increasingly dangerous world, boosting defense spending is essential. Let's not forget that Russia is and is remaining the most significant and direct threat to our alliance. Let's not forget that Russia is moving into a wartime economy, and that will have a huge impact on their capacity and capability to build their armed forces. You are strengthening NATO's eastern flank, hosting one of our forward land forces and contributing to NATO's multinational presence in Latvia and in Romania. And from the 1st of April, you will be supporting the Baltic Air Policing mission with F-16 fighter jets. And, Prime Minister, let me be absolutely clear, dear Donald, when it comes to the defense of Poland and the general defense of NATO territory, if anyone were to miscalculate and think they can get away with an attack on Poland or on any other ally, they will be met with the full force of this fierce alliance. Our reaction will be devastating. This has to be very clear to Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin and anyone else who wants to attack us. You are also increasing military training in Poland and further strengthening your borders. And I want to tell you that the Prime Minister briefed me on your initiative, East Shield /Shield East, And I welcome this important investment in Poland's security and therefore in Europe's and transatlantic security. I think it is important, and I know you are working closely with the European Union on this. At sea, in the air and on land, Poland is a vital contributor to NATO's collective defense. And I want to thank you for participating, and you mentioned it, in Baltic Sentry. When on the first Christmas Day, 25th of December, we had a cutting of the sea cable between Estonia and Finland, we had collectively to get into action. And we had a summit in Helsinki early January. We both participated there. And I think it was important that NATO was able, in only 10 days, to put up a reaction to what is happening there in the Baltic Sea, in the East Sea, whatever we call it, depending on the country you're coming from. But we all know what is happening there, and we have to defend ourselves against that. Poland's investment in defense is therefore an example to all allies. Not only do you top the NATO charge, you plan to spend even more. And again, thank you for that. And I know this is not easy because at the end there are many conflicting national priorities when it comes to spending public money. On defense investment across the alliance, we have seen movement now in the right direction. Last year, defense investment rose by 20% for Europe and Canada. But as President Trump has said, and I agree with him, European allies and Canada need to do more. We should all follow, therefore, the Polish example and rapidly ramp up our spending and capabilities and match words with action by investing more in security, our industry and in our deterrence. I welcome your recent discussions with the United Kingdom and other European allies on efforts to help defence production and to ramp it up, because we need to do more. By the way, this is an issue across the whole alliance, including the United States. And since assuming the presidency of the Council of the European Union for this half year, Poland has shown real leadership in shaping Europe's defence and security agenda. These are uncertain times, but let me be clear on one thing. The transatlantic partnership remains the bedrock of our alliance, and this will not change. I will come back to this issue this afternoon, indeed, in a speech here in Warsaw. The US has repeatedly made clear its commitment to a strong NATO, and President Trump reiterated this when we met at the White House earlier this month. But he also made clear that Europe must step up, and Poland is doing exactly that. So again, Prime Minister, dear Donald, thank you once again for your strong leadership, your steadfast commitment to our alliance, and again, your personal friendship and your warm welcome here today.
Always together.
I know, always.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Thank you.
Dziękujemy Państwu.